Businesses and restaurants have had to make a lot of adjustments to stick with the safety guidelines brought on by the pandemic. And some of those changes can really add up at the bottom line. One local restaurant says they were happy to see their customers cared enough to help. Our Cindy Stallworth tells us more.
Many people feel safer eating outdoors during the coronavirus pandemic, but temperatures are dropping. One Huntsville restaurant made some changes to try to make sure their customers feel safe and warm while eating outside, but they were in for a surprise when one customer anonymously left behind a little something to say thank you.
It's a gesture of kindness, of showing during this season of giving, sharing, and hope, I guess, yeah.
Suwit Phornroekngam is the owner of Phuket Thai Restaurant in Huntsville. He says he was shocked when he found this, a total of $7, neatly folded and tucked into the restaurant's blanket laundry basket.
First, we thought that people left it unintentionally.
But Suwit and the staff came to realize this was a kind gesture to help with the laundering cost of the blankets. Phuket is not open for indoor dining.
We felt like it's not right, especially during this time.
They do allow outdoor dining and carry-out, but with temperatures low in the winter, the restaurant has provided ways to stay warm with heaters and freshly laundered blankets for diners. But excess costs have started to add up.
The heaters, the propane gas, and it's quite expensive for the propane gas because we have to change the tanks like every 2 or 3 days.
The anonymous donation means more than that mystery customer may know.
I feel like those small amount of money, it actually kind of boost the morale of our staff.
The restaurant could increase profits by choosing to reopen indoor dining, but Suwit says he's chosen to keep the dining room closed for a number of reasons. Most importantly, safety, even if it costs him a bit extra.
You can have livelihood if you have life, but you cannot have a livelihood without life. So I believe between the two, life has to come first. Health has to come first.
Putting the valley first, Cindy Stallworth, WZDX News.